consciously eating.
So today I brought Aicy, the legend himself. And actually it's the first video we will do together. And yeah, we will talk about the units and we will try to rank them in different tiers. I guess the most people know how this stuff works. But maybe we should first define what kind of criteria we apply to the units. So how useful it is in the game in general, how strong is it in fighting, or I don't know, how often do you play it? Like maybe that's that sort of criteria we should use. What was your thought on that?
Yeah, hello everyone. I think probably stuff like like how often we see it, but also how powerful it is. Like some units you rarely ever see, or some units you see almost every game. Kind of how good they are across different matchups, probably quite good judge. And you just vibes, certain units. You just look at it and it's like that is a strong unit, right? Like,
all right.
You don't really need to put much thought into it. You're like, yeah, that's a good unit.
Okay, so we do this. So yeah, as you can see, the icons are already in order of the alphabetical letters. So airship would be the first one. So what is your thought on the airship?
Honestly, the temptation to put stuff in the S tier straight away, I know it's too strong.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's so strong, but like the airship is really, really good. It's one of the best units, but obviously not on its own. It literally does nothing. If you have an airship
it's a
and other
support.
units, it's support, but it turns other units into super units.
Yeah.
So I would given that I'd give it S tier, but given that on its own it's completely useless, I think it's an A tier unit.
A tier. Okay. I guess we agree on that. I was about to. I mean, I was kind of split between S and D because I was like, it's useless. But then again, as you already pointed out, it's great at supporting units and enabling units. So yeah, I would agree. It's definitely A. Never S. But even B is maybe fitting. But yeah, I guess we can agree on A. It's fine. So the next one would be the Archer. I think archers are strong, honestly. I think
you think archers are strong.
Yeah, I think. I mean, in sheer numbers, archers are pretty damn good.
If you asked me this about 3 months ago, I would have put archer in C tier. But after, they always historically were really bad units. But then people started doing pure archer in Raxus Beast, pure archer in Raxus Rax. You can't really play archers are completely terrible versus mech, so I think that alone means they can't go A tier, to be honest. So I'm not going to put them in C like I would have personally, but I think they're pretty solid B tier. I think they're like the most average unit you can get. They're not really good at anything. Yeah, like a big archer ball is pretty scary, but it gets countered by catapults and fireball, I guess, and werewolves dropping into them. Although that's not.
Yeah, but if you think, but the counter you listed right now, where catapults are already way more expensive than archers, they are
they're not.
They're well, like one archer is 80 gold.
They're 30 gold more expensive than archers.
Yeah, so they are more expensive, and I think the catapult is also taking more supply, right? So you cannot have
a little bit more.
Yeah, well, you will have more archers in general than you can have catapults, and I agree. I mean, catapults are the natural counter to archers, but if you think about opening, someone opens with 2x and they pump out archers like crazy. Like, what are the steps you have to take to counter them? Like you have.
That's super easy. If it's just 2x archer, just make loads of walls, or even lots of Gatling guns. 2x archer. I don't think is very scary. I think what's scarier is like late game when they're like 120 supply of loads of archers. I think that's more scary.
Yeah, but even that is scary. So you really have to. I mean, in my world, I mean, I'm not on your level. I agree. I admit that, and I'm not having your skill, and I'm not having any game sense or anything comparable to yours. Don't get me wrong, but I think for me as a beginner or maybe intermediate now, archers are fucking scary units. Especially, I mean, in the beginning, I agree you can really outplay them and you can kill them, you can encircle them with wolves and stuff. That works. But in the late game, as you already pointed out, you really have to you have to be way more precise than the archer player. Like the archer player can just dodge the
I'm not
catapult
sure about
shots,
that.
and
I think it's
so
a lot harder to dodge catapult shots consistently and get damage with archers than it is to just A-move catapults, I think. I mean, there's a reason we see in mech, I mean, in racks, people don't stay on pure archer. That doesn't ever happen anymore. People always mix in catapult. I think like they either, to be honest, people like Weird Rat, he doesn't even make archers in racks versus racks. He only makes soldiers and catapults. He thinks they're probably C tier. And then people like me or Dane or Square Root will go archer catapult. And then the catapults just shred archers, and archers on their own, they just can't keep up.
Okay.
So I would say I'm gonna stick. You can put them in A if you want, but I think they're definitely C tier.
Yeah, no,
like
I brought you as an expert.
Yeah.
I brought you in as an expert. If you say it's B, definitely, then we stay at B. But I really have to step up my game then. I have to really step up my game and learn how to play versus archers then. So yeah, great.
Sure.
Okay, so what's the next? Ballista is the next. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
ballistas do one thing, and they do it really well. They're super good versus air, and you kind of need them. That's the thing.
Every game.
You need them every game, mostly to fight the other OP unit, which is we've already gone before, which is an airship.
Yeah.
But also to fight catapults or dragons. But they're actually also really good at tanking. That's something that like good players use a lot. They've got 4 armor, which is insane, and a lot of health. And so they're the best tanking unit because they have like the same armor of the werewolf, but you can repair them. So you can have like 50 supply attacking a ballista, and it won't die if it's being repaired. So they're really good in like chokes and like to just like tank shots and stuff like that.
Wow.
As well as just shooting the air.
Okay, that's I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
So the steam tanks we talked about in implementing in LWG are supposed to replace this kind of niche role of ballista, right?
No. Well, let's not get into that. We don't know if that's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but in that case, I mean, I think then the ballista, kind of owns the place in A, right? Because it's so good versus everything in the air, and also apparently it's good at tanking. So maybe we put it in A.
Yeah. I think like if it was only considering like against air, then it's S plus, right? But because it can't shoot ground, then it has to be A.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the role of the ballista. I mean, that's the whole purpose of having this unit. So it's very good, and I think there's no amount of any air unit who wins versus 4 or 6 ballista with all upgrades.
No, not if they're being repaired. You can have a million
Especially,
dragons.
You can have 2 with repair and then it's GG. But I mean, like without repair, and you have 6 of them is overkill. Like they kill everything in the air. So I agree. It's A, definitely. So the next one would be the burp. So
do we even need to discuss this?
Wait, you discussed this already?
No, do we even need to discuss this? I think there's
well,
no
it's
doubt.
S tier. I mean, it's obvious, right?
Yeah.
No, right. I mean, there is a purpose for burps, and I think
they people make them sometimes. Yeah. They are made, but you never see more than one, really. And
sometimes 2. I mean, if the first one gets killed by one archer, you have to do another one. I mean,
not really though. I don't think so, because the thing is, there's so many scouting options in Little War Game that you don't even need to make birds. Like if you go racks, you can pretty much always flash a raider into their base. If you go beast, you
may lose the raider.
You may lose a raider. You might not. It depends.
Yeah.
But losing a raider costs about the same as building a bird anyway.
Yeah, right? you also cut one worker, right? If you build your burp.
Exactly.
Yeah, but is it really D? I mean, it has some purpose. And also, if you fight against invisible units, they are great with an upgrade. They are great. They help you detect. I mean, airships are better, of course, but
airships are much better. So the thing is that they're only good in one situation of the game, and that is someone is on like walled off 2 bases and they like have a tower there and you literally can't scout and you've not gone advanced workshop or dragons or gyros, so you can't scout that main. In that one situation, it's good to make a bird and scout their main base. But otherwise,
Okay.
there's other ways to scout that are just using the units you already have,
Okay, case dismissed. Expert opinion, burp is shit. All right, we get it. Okay. maybe we can talk about how to increase the usefulness of a burp. Like maybe we have
Well,
to have it built in another building. Would that change anything?
No, so I think it's kind of in a good place, because I think if you made it too easy to scout, if birds, let's say, were free and you could always just scout someone's base,
Yeah, that would
would
be OP.
remove
Yeah.
so much skill from the game.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of skill in trying to get the scout off, get the information. So birds are fine, I think. They're like observers in StarCraft 2, they just do their one thing quite well.
Just the worst, just a bit worse than observers.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
The next one would be the catapult. So where would you put the catapult? I mean, it's a pretty. I mean, one of the units you see most of the time, because they are. I mean, they are strong, right? Especially.
I think this is easily the best unit in the game. There's no doubt about
the best
that.
Unit.
This is S tier 100%. There's no way it's not. They're good in every single matchup. Ever since I started mixing in catapults into my beast play against Rax, my win rate has gone way up. I'm undefeatable. I'm like beating all the best players.
That's a bold claim.
Before. Okay, I'm not, but when I do it, I win a lot more.
Okay.
Same with Rax, you need it, and then mech versus mech, obviously you make catapults.
Yeah, of course.
And then just any game, if you can, even if you just make 2 and put them in an airship and do some cat drops, you can get some serious damage. Yeah. Catapults just add so much damage to your army. They're so supply efficient. They're crazy supply efficient. Yeah. They're really cheap. They can be repaired. They can 2-shot worker lines. They're just the best unit, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean,
what do you think?
Yeah, I have a different kind of connection to them units. I mean, as we already stated, I'm not as skillful as you, but still, I mean, I play mech and I also play catapults, but I think for me personally, they are very hard to control. I mean, I would not even call it micro because they are so slow, but it's kind of hard to, I don't know, take 2 out of 8 catapults and shoot something which is moving, because you have to kind of guess where the unit will move, and then you have to choose this ground attack, and it's for me it's a pain to play catapults, and especially because they are so important and add so much value.
I think you're thinking about it too much. I think you just let the main move. If the other player is moving around all the time to dodge catapult shots, they're not shooting either, are they? So just and you obviously you have some other units there, and the killer combo is you need Gatling guns and you need to spawn caltrops, because when units run into caltrops, then the catapults will 100% kill them, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, also you need to combine catapults with airships so they can move around a lot more. So you can kite with them and go up and down cliffs.
But that's my point. Like you need some other units to enable the catapult value. Really.
Oh yeah.
You cannot just
yeah.
You cannot just put 150 supply catapults and A-click on the enemy base. You really have to do something around it.
You can sometimes.
Okay, I agree. Yeah, you can. Okay, yeah.
Again, you kind of need workers. That's true. Yeah. Catapult is probably more than any other unit, like combines with other units to work well, because they work well with workers, they work well with airships.
Yeah.
They work with Gatling guns, right?
Yeah. Or with soldiers.
So that's why catapults are such a good thing to just add into your army. Whatever army you've got, you might have like wolf snake, you might have werewolves, you might have soldiers, you might have anything. Just adding like 2 catapults just makes that army. It allows you to zone. They're really good defensively. If I ever suspect someone's cheating me, this is a little secret tip. I pretty much always just kind of make a workshop, because that's going to be good against any cheese, really. That's not entirely true, but often that is.
Yeah, now the fighter is crying because everyone is doing workshop services. Man, you cannot do this. Okay. Well, okay. I think it's dependent on other units, and therefore I would say it's A. But if your expertise is suggesting that we put it on S because it's such a valuable unit, we can let it remain there.
I would say every unit depends on every unit, right? I mean, every unit depends on the worker, doesn't it? You need workers.
Yeah. Well,
And
there are units who are very strong without any support.
I suppose, yeah, but I don't think that's a very good metric. I would
Mm.
say the reason the catapults are good is you can take any army and add the catapult, and then suddenly that army is a lot stronger.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good explanation. I think with that in mind, we can leave it at S. I think that fits. Yeah, I like that. Great. So the next one would be the dragons. Oh, now I'm interested. So what do you think of dragons, Aicy?
So dragons are really good units because they're fast. They do a lot of damage. They do splash, so they like catapults. They can kill work lines
without
very
an upgrade,
fast.
by the way. The AOE is without an upgrade. It's insane.
Yeah. They do AOE, and they're quite tanky, and they force your opponent to make blisters. Like archers can't really fight catapults that well, and so they're just really good of like controlling the map and all of that. So I would say they're definitely A tier, potentially S tier.
Really,
Maybe
you would
not.
put them in A? I was like, it's definitely S tier. I mean, you force your opponent to build multiple towers at every mine. You force your opponent in building 2 buildings if they don't have them already. So I think dragons are really, if you don't scout dragons and your opponent got 4 of them, and you are catched without knowing and unaware, it's like hell to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. But again, it's quite hard. It's expensive to tactic dragons. You have to build. It costs like 400 gold before you even get a dragon. You've got to spend 100 on the fort, 200 for the. It's like 480 gold, right?
Yeah.
To get 1 dragon. It's a lot of money. They're like the highest tech unit in the game. So if someone's made 4 dragons and you've not scouted it, that's kind of on you, right? That's like
okay, take it.
That's 500 gold, right? That's like someone making like 12 soldiers, right? 12 soldiers show up in your base. Like that's going to do a lot of damage as well,
right? Oh, okay, yeah. Got me there, right? Of course, you want to scout, but that's why we have the useful burp here. Okay. So, but what is the reason not to put it in S tier? Let me frame the question that way.
Okay, because they get countered so hard by ballistas. They just get slaughtered by them.
Everything in the air is slaughtered by ballista.
That's why everything in the air can't be S tier.
Okay.
Except for maybe airships.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay, I get. So because there's 1 unit countering, but that's the case for every unit. I think every unit has a natural counter.
I don't think so. No, I don't think every unit has a like really strong counter. Like
ballista is so strong.
What's counter to a wolf? Like there's no counter really.
It's just units. 1 soldier takes out 3 wolves or something.
No, it doesn't.
But 1 ballista is taking out 10 dragons. Yeah, right. Okay, so we put it in A, right?
I think so. It doesn't feel like S tier because they could just die so quickly.
Well, they kind of die quickly. That's something you don't expect because the unit itself is pretty meat. But I think they have 1 armor or 0 armor or something like that. Very low. It's not that tanky. Okay, so we put it in A, which is already and it's still a good.
I think it should be probably above ballistas if we're going to order them in A tier. So you could put it between ballista and airship. I still think airship's better than dragons, though.
The airship is definitely better than dragons. Okay, so the next one would be the Gatling guns. And now I'm interested because I think Gatling guns are pretty damn good, but they also kind of fall off if you don't have the numbers. So maybe you agree with this. But yeah, I think, I don't know, three Gatling guns for the start is okay to hold off, I don't know, 6 to 10 wolves with repair and stuff. That's possible. But if you go like, I don't know, 50 supply or more pure supply of Gatling guns, I think they are not as efficient and good because they can, I don't know, one or 2 mages, they kill them, or everything in the air kills them. It's Gatling guns are something I think for the first few minutes of the game, maybe mid game, but really, I mean, there are maybe some pocket strategies and you can, I don't know, tower rush with them behind it or something like that. But other than that, I think that's why I think we also see not that much of Gatling guns in play, or at least when I watch replays or other people play.
Yeah, I think Gatling guns are kind of underrated. I think they're really good. The caltrops are really, really good. Some people use like Square Root -1 uses them really well, where he'll basically he'll cut workers with his Gatling, his like workshop opening to get his advanced workshop out quicker. Partly so he can get a drop quicker, but also partly so he'll cut workers so he can get his advanced workshop so he can start dropping those caltrops really early. And then that when someone sends in like their first 2 walls or like their raider, it will get caught and then it'll die to a catapult drop, and not the drop, it'll just get died to the catapult in natural, and that's brutal. You just losing your like first 2 units just for nothing. And then Gatling guns are just like are really good for like taking a third base or just defending positions because you just hold position them and repair them, and they're quite cheap. I have recently been playing builds where I just like make 3 workshops on 2 base and just attack people with those Gatling guns, and it worked pretty well.
Did you play that versus Destroy Call or the like, or versus something like me?
No, I think I've done that against some good people. Weird Rat tried doing that against me as well.
How did you
He actually
counter?
lost that game. I went Wolf Archer against that, I think.
So
Or I
Wolf
went
Archer
like
is okay. Archers are really, really good versus Gatling guns.
Yeah, or maybe I like went like Wolf Gatling gun or something like that, which is basically like a hard counter. Because that's the other thing. So Gatling guns are really weak against units that don't have armor because they have that bonus penetrative damage. But against like wolves, they're really bad, and against archers, they're really bad. So yeah, I would put them.
But versus raiders, they also suck. Like raiders one shot.
Raiders. Yeah,
raiders.
3 raiders, just jump on them and kill them instantly. Yeah. You're right. It's either B or C. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I would put them in C, honestly. Yeah, but just because I don't see them that often. I see never. I mean, they are not game deciding. They are not to end the game or something like that. It's more like to have your second or third more secure with the call drops, and as you explained.
Yeah.
And that's their purpose, really. In the later stages of the game, you really transition out of Gatling guns most of the time. So I would put
you
them
might
in
have
C
a
as well.
few. Yeah, I would say C. I mean, like, and they don't shoot up, and like a lot of the stuff that they can do, for example, like you may want to get them to counter werewolves or to counter catapults. The catapults can counter them both of those things as well, right? So so I think C makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Next mech unit, interestingly. Then we have already mech covered with the gyrocopter. I think gyrocraft, right?
Gyrocopter, I thought.
Gyrocopter, yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Anyways, the gyros. Nobody is.
Everyone just called them gyros, yeah.
Gyros. So what do you think of gyros? I think they are meme units.
Yeah, I think they're meme units. You make gyros if you just want to dunk on someone, like you want to make you know you're playing better than someone, and you want to make them feel really bad about themselves. You know what? I'm gonna make gyros this game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're for.
Yeah. So, but they are not as useful. I mean, they are not completely useless. I think there are some cases where you can surprise your opponent with some gyros, but you never make more than, I don't know, 5 of them. If you make 5 and can fly in and kill 1, 2 workers and fly out again, get it repaired, and I mean that can really be pesky. Nothing game deciding, and more like, I don't know, a niche tactic, and actually in Pro League we saw a lot of gyrocopters in Pro League actually, and I was pretty surprised, honestly.
So there's a few situations where gyrocopters are pretty strong. So one of them is that they are really fast, and they're faster than they can be repaired. So they're faster than dragons, and this means they can snowball really hard. So if you can micro them well, you can just like dragons can't run away, and you can kill them, and then you can pull the weak gyrocrafts back and repair them. So if you get like a snowball momentum going with gyrocrafts, they can be really strong. And you saw that this happened kind of with my game against Weird Rat in Pro League, where he made a lot of gyrocrafts, and I kept on just not being able to run away with my dragons because he's faster than me. What I realized too late in that game, though, is I should have had ballistas and airships with my dragons. As soon as I started doing that, his gyrocrafts were pretty useless.
Yeah.
If I had done that earlier in that game, I probably would have won the game.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it would have been closer. So yeah. So the other way I think gyrocrafts can be pretty good is that their upgrades scale pretty well. So late game they can be pretty good to mix in because they get +2 attack for each.
Yeah, but really not a whole lot. It's nothing you can really mess. Except you rely on your opponent to forget ballista. But
the problem is if you ever mass them, no matter what happens, no matter how ahead you are, the other player can just start if they get 2 ballistas out with the
and it's
ballista
GG.
upgrade. Yeah, it's GG. So I would say they're D or high or low C.
D. Okay. We put them in D. Just because I also think they are completely useless most of the cases. Above the bird. Okay, above the bird. Okay. We don't want to be too mean to the gyros. Okay. So mech is already covered, and we see catapult is by far the best units, and also
airships
and the ballistas in combination.
Yeah.
And then the rest. Okay. Interesting. All right, so the next one would be the mages. Honestly, I have to admit, I don't play mages that much and that often because I'm not that in love with Rex yet. I'm trying to master beast play right now and still don't try to fall off too hard in my mech play. So I think I played them once in all my 500 plus games I ever played. So I don't know. I played against them, of course, and lost to them because the fireballs wrecked all my catapults. But except that, I don't really know what to say about mages. I think they are very niche and they have only one purpose, and that's countering catapults. If you are opening with Rex and sticking to Rex. Other than that, I don't really know too much about them.
So they have a couple other purposes. So if someone's going really heavy wolf snake, mages are really good against wolf snake. I mean, I think just 2 fireballs. If you throw 2 fireballs at a group of snakes, the snakes just evaporate instantly. So that's really strong. People don't do that much recently. Like people don't play mass wolf snake except for like Slammer 4. He's the only one who really does it. So it's kind of dropped off. But a few years ago, people would make mages in Rax versus Beast. The other good thing that I see Square Root -1 doing quite a lot is he will drop mages into worker lines and just evaporate your workers. And you can't. The thing is, catapult drop, you can run away from a catapult drop quite easily. But fireballs, they have such long range that even if you run them away, they all die.
I can imagine. Square Root is the guy to have a really bad angle, and you try to move your workers away, and then they're still.
Well, yeah, no. So usually the way you're like, let's say you've got a 4th base or a 5th base, you want to wall it off. You don't want units like to just run into it all the time. So you'll create a SimCity wall off, and what that'll mean, there'll be only one exit out of your base. There's only one way. So when they fireball the other side, all your workers, if you're running away, they all line up towards that exit. So you just fireball towards that, and all the workers are gone instantly.
Oh, that's so painful. Then 10 or more.
There's not much you can do. There's not much you can do. And then you see the drop coming as well, and you think, oh, there's going to be soldiers in there or something. I don't mind. But no, 4 mages pop out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds very painful. I would not like to play versus Square Root's mages now, or yours. I guess you're doing the same if you can.
I don't do it. I'm above those kind of retro
shots fired. Okay. Okay. So where put we? I mean, so is the mages or the mage as a unit? Is it designed with being a counter in mind, or you think it's in general a good unit all around? You can always mix it into your army.
I don't think. Yeah, that's the thing. I think they're very situational. I think most situations mages are really bad because they're just quite expensive. I think people forget slow field even exists. Slow field is really good. Renus, when he used to open one Rax raid into Mechalot, would then mix in mages later to slow field stuff that was attacking his army, and you can imagine that's really good. Catapults, if they're hitting things that are being slowed, they're going to get a lot more shots
that's
in, right?
Next level.
Yeah, so slow field's really good. I think that's underused. The problem with slow field's just very expensive. It's 75 mana.
They have only 100, right?
Yeah, and they only start with 50. But because they're so situational, like if you're playing against someone who's going werewolf dragon, mages are completely useless, right?
Yeah.
I would say they're C tier.
Yeah, also because they are so expensive to get.
Yeah.
And they are not
But
useful from the moment they appear. You have to keep
yeah,
them
yeah,
idling somewhere or do another upgrade for
exactly.
them. And you never have
Yeah.
you never have that many racks. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just
fireball as well. You have to get the upgrade for it, which it
yeah,
takes so long. It's
yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
Okay. So we put it in C. Not as useful as the gyro or the burp, but still very situational. Okay. So next up, I think another very situational unit would be the priest, right?
Yeah, priest used to. Oh, I'm going way back. Back when Dads played a lot, like 5-6 years ago, beasts were made almost every single game.
Okay.
As Rax versus Beast, and I have tried it recently again when I played Rax against Beast, and I usually, the thing is, I very rarely play Rax versus Beast because when I play Rax and see someone's going Beast, I
You
go,
transition
"Oh,
into mech.
I'm going to transition to Beast." Or
Ah,
maybe Mech because I like those matchups more and I don't want to play Rax, right?
okay.
So I don't play it that much, but I think opening priest is very good against like wolf snakes, the healing, and then you can transition into invis. But really, it's kind of a meme
Yeah,
build. Like,
I mean, the invisibility stuff is
yeah.
definitely memeing,
So the
but
thing is, invisibility is so expensive. It's like 200 gold. It's
yes,
crazy expensive.
yeah, and it doesn't last that long on your units,
It
and
lasts
it's
quite a
very
long time.
expensive. Yeah, well, I think 30
Yeah,
seconds or something, but
it's a
still, I
minute,
mean, there's one
60
upgrade
seconds.
or 60, or even
Yeah,
more.
it's quite long. It's
Yeah,
quite long.
and then you have one upgrade of your opponent, and it's definitely useless. So all your investment is gone. So you
Yeah,
try.
you can still kind of go. Even if they get the upgrade, they need to have the units in the right position, right? The airships or the birds. I
But it's
think
also
it's pretty
mana
good.
expensive. I think. How much do you have to?
It's
So how
only
much?
50.
50, and they have 100 or
Yeah.
150. 100,
Uh,
no?
no, they have 100 mana, but by the time the Invis expires, you'll have another 60 mana, right?
Yeah,
Because
but
they
that would mean that
reach
you
them
have
one a
an
second.
army like split, and then you have one half is only priest, and the other and casting invis constantly, and the other half is your army.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would also be
sure. But you
not
can
that great.
pull them apart and do stuff. They're I think they have loads of potential. They just don't ever really get out because they're so expensive.
You
I
think it's
think
very hard to play them? Maybe it's a
no, it's not hard.
skill.
It's just that the investment is so high because the problem is you have to build this building, the church, that does nothing but build priests, right? Like
Yeah,
if you go mages, you've already have a racks to make your 8 mages out,
yeah.
so you can pump like 5 mages out once you get the mages guild. But priest, you just build the one building, and
And
it
then
only
it
does
only
one
pops out
thing.
one, and you have to do the upgrade
Yeah,
in the same building. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
and it
see that.
can't do anything else. So when you build a racks, you can use it to make mages. You can use it to make
That
anything
takes
else,
too
right?
much time.
Um,
There's not
yeah,
a real path like a clear game plan where you can integrate it, right?
exactly,
I see it. I see
exactly.
it.
So I think personally, when I play like free versus freeze, I get a church every single time.
Yeah, because it's
Like,
funny. I mean, it's
no, no,
very
no, that's not why. It's really good. It's really good in a game where if free versus free, where you've got your opponents, your allies can defend you.
mm,
2 other players are making normal units, and you don't have to like make your own units defend. You can just go pure like invis stuff,
mm.
and then they have to get a detection and defenses everywhere. The amount of investment you have to make compared to what they have to make to defend, like invisible dragons or invisible catapult drops.
I
They
see.
have to. It's so much, and you can just wreak havoc. So like I think team games show how brilliant Invis can be.
Yeah,
It's just that it's too expensive to get in a normal game, I think.
yeah.
But
Now I want to
I think we're
play
talking
free
about
versus
one
free
v
with
one,
you.
right?
And
Sorry.
now I want to play some team games with you. Not against you, of
Yeah.
course, but you as my mate. Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well,
It's fun.
I see your points. I
Yeah.
think they are very valid. So maybe we put
Yeah.
it in C, not in D, which was so far the meme category. Or we put it above the gyrocopter in D.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's C or D. I think it's probably. I actually think gyros are better than priests. So I would. They see a lot more use than priests.
Yeah, maybe we put it
So
here between burp
again,
and
like
gyro.
you never really see them in a normal in 1v1. Like I talked a lot about 3v3, but 1v1
Rarely.
never,
Yeah.
except for like that one opening in Rax versus Beast. But that's people don't do that anymore. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So you agree with the position in the meme category?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one would be the Raider.
Well, this is obviously
S tier,
I
right?
don't-
It's
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the best opening you can play right now. Like
The only question is it above the catapult or not?
no, never.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
okay,
not.
if you think
Yeah.
about it, putting these two units against each other, the catapult
Yeah.
stands no chance. But
Sure. Yeah,
if
that's
we
true.
if we enable the catapult with an airship, the Raider
Yeah.
already has lost. Like there's
Yeah.
no chance for Raiders to do
Yeah.
anything against an
So
airship.
yeah, just to cover the Raider for anyone who is listening that's not such a little war game aficionado, there is no unit in the game that allows so people will open one Rax Raider and they can just win purely off Raiders,
Yep.
purely off the bulk of their own micro.
Yep.
There's a certain breed of players, probably like let's say the top 5 little war game players, can just, if they play someone who's going like one den and the top 5 player is playing Raiders, they can just win with Raiders
Yep.
almost every game.
Yep.
Just off the micro,
Yep.
because Raiders have so much potential. So Raiders do 5 times more damage than the Wolf, and they regen. So if you kite, you can just kill wolf after wolf after wolf and lose nothing. And you'll see games where you look at the units lost tab and it'll be 0 to like 16 wolves.
Yes,
And
I had
that's
these
not
games.
even like a weird thing like that happens once a year. No, you see that once every like 10 games.
Yeah,
Right?
Wolf's pretty useless with it. But I
Wolf's
mean,
not
honestly, every unit, like Raiders even win versus werewolves or versus Gatling
Yep.
guns, or
Yep.
I mean, even versus I can't even name a unit which is superior to the Raider when it comes to just fighting with A-Click. Like even if you don't kite with them, they just deal so much damage.
Yeah.
It's insane. So for me, Raiders definitely S tier.
And also they can scout with flash, so you can get into a base.
Yeah,
you can
they are
flash
so
out over
useful.
the castle.
Yeah,
they're so useful. So I mean, the thing is, what the situation now is, no matter what faction you prefer to play, you could prefer to play mech or beast, but you probably should open with Raiders.
Yes.
You open with Raiders and transition to them just because they're so good.
The Rex opening, for me personally, and I have spoken to Slemmer, I think, who's also of the same opinion. Currently, opening with the Rex and the Raider is the best opening you can play right now against everything.
I think so.
Like you don't need to scout this. Every cheese you will face will be, I don't know, you put down a tower and then you keep producing Raiders, and you can decide you want to harass his worker line. You can go home and defend. You can scout the map for every proxy building. Like they are so insanely useful.
Yeah.
There's no real reason to open any other way if it's not for some training purposes or something like that. If you play a rank game, always put down the Rex and always queue one Raider.
Personally, I do actually like to open fast wolves just so I can scout the whole map with like 3 wolves. But I agree that one Rax Raiders in general is the most safe,
even if
stable opening.
When you play this double den, like this fast castle double den, right? If you play that one, and there's one Raider, there's already so much trouble, and you have to it's so stressful already to handle.
That's probably one of the worst build order counters. If you go 2 den against one Rax Raider, you should just GG. If you're playing against someone who can micro Raiders, of course. If they can't micro Raiders, you'll probably win. But if they can, the game there's nothing you can do. Like they don't even need to make a tower. They can just fight all your walls with just keep making Raiders.
It's insane.
It's really good. So I mean, I like to open like 8 house 9 den for my own reasons. I mean 8 house 8 den or whatever it is. But in general, I think one Rax Raider is good. So yeah.
Okay, good. So it's S tier definitely. Next one would be the snakes. Oh, now I'm interested. Oh, snakes. Snakes are units who I know that they only die, like to most units they die 2 hit or 1 hit, and I think they deal on the other side of the coin. They deal insane amount of damage with very high attack speed, I think. So yeah, give us some opinions on snakes. Maybe some, I don't know, information we don't know. Because for me, it's I add this for the wolves I have as a backup if I face some Rex only stuff, but in general, I think snakes are very cheap on the other side. But they are also very not meaty. They don't tank anything. Like they die so quickly.
They die super quickly. So Raiders, I mean, so in each matchup they do have a use, I would say. No, sorry, not Raiders, snakes. And as you say, they're really weak. They have really fast attack speed, but really low damage. They only do like 5 damage or like 6 damage or something like that. Maybe it's 8. It's really low. But what that does mean is they really benefit from attack upgrades. If you get like +3 attack, suddenly their DPS is insane, right? If you've got an attack versus damage upgrade. But the thing is, they drop off quite a lot depending. So you tend not to actually use them later in the game with lots of DPS because they die to splash units so much. They die to fireball, evaporated, like I mentioned before. They die to catapults. Because werewolves have so much armor, late game against once someone has werewolves. So it's entirely in Beast vs Beast. After a certain point, you should never make snakes because they're terrible against werewolves, and because they have half damage to dragons, they're also terrible against dragons. So
and versus wolves,
early
they die
game,
as well.
wolves they can be quite good against because wolves don't have any armor.
But
so they do their full damage versus wolves.
But if there are no other wolves you can use to block opponent's wolves, then
so what I like to do in Beast vs Beast, if I'm going snakes, if I'm going wolves, what I'll do is some people make the mistake of they'll go for attack and they'll rally across attack and they'll rally their snakes across. And then they'll just get picked off and die, or they get surrounded and stuff like that. The way I always like to use snakes in Beast vs Beast is I will just pull up like 4 or 5, maybe 6, no more than that. Let's say I have 8 wolves, and I'll just like 6 snakes, and then I'll do one big strong push, and I'll keep all my snakes together in a ball, tightly surrounded by my wolves, and then I'll reinforce only with wolves. Because what should happen is what will be dying is the wolves, and you shouldn't lose any of those snakes, so you shouldn't need to replace them, right? But if you replace them with snakes are a lot slower than wolves.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you run out of wolves, as you say, they just completely get obliterated by wolves. So they can be pretty strong. And again, versus mech, if you get a good surround, they can be really good for like punching down workers and catapults and Gatling guns. They have a lot of DPS.
Well, I try to actually drop them, which is also very funny and works. So you can just drop them near the workers, and they do so much damage to all of the workers. They automatically choose the workers, and it's really it's painful to watch if you are not the player having the snakes. So I would definitely put them in B. I'm not too sure if they
really?
are. Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Aren't they kind of mandatory in any beast play scenario?
I barely ever make snakes personally. As a beast player, I very rarely make snakes. I should probably make them more than I do. So one of the reasons I don't make them is they slow your army down. So if I'm going wolf dragon, I can like dynamically reposition my wolves and snagons all over the wolves and dragons all over the maps and do characters and stuff like that. But if you make snakes, you can't do that anymore. They're so slow. And then also, we haven't mentioned Beast vs Rax, where they're terrible. They suck versus soldiers, and they really suck versus archers. They're really bad. I mean, they can be good if you get like a big surround and like you just have way more units in them, and they can kind of snowball. But I don't think they're very good.
But they are better than, I mean, not mages, if there's a fireball upgrade, but they are better than Gatling guns, right?
Oh yeah, I think they're top of C tier. They could be low B, I think, maybe.
Maybe we put it in the last spot of B, always behind everything else.
I wouldn't. I think they die too quickly to catapults and archers and
they are too vulnerable. Okay.
Yeah.
We put it in C. But they are the proud best C unit. It's okay. We got this. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up would be the soldiers.
Soldiers. Yeah, I don't know. These are.
It's
I have no idea.
Split. Yeah, it's absolutely split, right?
This is
sometimes
the iconic
they're very strong.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're, I don't know, you don't do them anymore because the other units are so strong. What is their role in the game? Like usually, what's the reason for building soldiers? I mean, you already mentioned the Weird Red idea with soldiers and catapults, so they are good meat shields.
Yeah, and they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they are not damage dealers, right? I mean, they can do damage.
They can. They have high damage, but slow attack.
If you put them down in a worker line or something like that, it's decent.
Yeah.
But are they better than archers?
They're definitely not better than archers. But I actually think they're better than snakes.
Yes.
They're very good for drops. And they're good for tanking.
They are great versus wolves, though.
They're great versus wolves. They're good. They're decent versus werewolves as well. Actually, and catapults. Yes. Yeah. They're nice. They're not the best.
I use them versus catapults as well. Like you always pick 1 or 2 of them, and then you select them to chase one of the catapults, and it works. Yeah. It's nice. They serve a purpose. So I would put them here behind.
I feel like Gatling Gunners rated too low. To be honest, I feel like Gatling Gunner's better than Soldier and Snake. Personally.
Now I cannot go back in the recording.
Well, we can just move it anyway. Don't need to re-record.
We can do a final revision if you want so.
Sure.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong to me that like Gatling guns, they kites soldiers, they have so much utility. Soldiers aren't really that useful. I don't know.
We will talk about the Gatling guns at the end again. So let's talk about soldiers, and soldiers are fine. Like B is okay. They are not as great. I mean,
what I'm saying is B soldiers are good where they are. I think they're good in B, but we should also promote Gatling guns in front of soldiers.
So in my opinion, this would be the setup you would choose. Okay.
Yeah, I think that looks much better.
All right. So all units from Rex without upgrades or any additional buildings are S or B. That's hard. So would you agree that the Raider is the best units from the Rex?
Definitely.
Okay.
Easily,
and then if we have to rank the units in the Rex, we would put Archer in the second place and Soldier in the third. That's correct.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, I mean, early game, you don't. You never really make soldiers at all early game. Like you can go pure archer early game. Late game as well. You could sometimes pure archers. Archers are better than soldiers. So yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, good. so we are fine with that one. We do no final checkup. We just change things on the go. And
that sounds good.
When someone is skipping through the video, he will now wonder why the Gatling gun apparently is in B. But jokes on you, you have to watch the whole video, bro.
Exactly, all right, bro. No skipping allowed. You'll be banned.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing would be the werewolf. Where would you put it? Now I'm interested. I like werewolves, honestly. I think they are very strong. Especially the earlier you get them, the more strong they are.
Yeah. Yeah, werewolves are crazy good. They're like the most stat-balled unit ever.
Yeah, I hate them. But I kind of love them.
They have so much damage and so much health. And smash is so good. If you get a good smash off, it can just completely change the game, right? I feel like these all...
Did you know that smash is kind of buggy, actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit buggy. It makes you deselect your units, yeah.
Yeah, it's painful to play against.
Yeah. Well,
I cannot use my group again because there was a smash,
Reselect it. That's part of their ability. They smash the unit so hard that they're like dazed and they can't be like sent commands by the commander anymore. It's not a bug. It's a
it's
part of the game design. Yeah.
Okay, good.
The little game doesn't have any bugs.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Give us a little presentation of werewolves. What other than smash, their tankiness and their damage and in general?
That's good enough, isn't it? So like,
but
you can just.
I
think they're S tier, yeah, because I think they're bottom of S tier because, I mean, people will do like one-base werewolf rushes and like win. I don't think it's very good, but a lot of people lose to it apparently. Because they're just they're so powerful. They're super slow, but you need a lot of damage to deal with them.
Yeah. But Gatling guns are pretty awesome versus them, and Raider also, and catapults.
They can be, yeah, they can be. But once you put werewolves into an airship, you can just drop the werewolves on top of them.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it. It's insane. I mean, I try to I try to play the werewolf chiefs, of course, just to get a better understanding of how to play against it. And every time I lose, I wonder why these fucking werewolves are so garbage when I play them, and why they are so strong when someone else is playing it again. So,
yeah, they're really clunky units, and they're really hard. Yeah, that you have to use them well. You kind of need to get airships if you go werewolves in a lot of matchups, because otherwise they're too slow. And because they're so expensive, like if you just like move werewolves into like a big archer ball and they just die, then they're just useless, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not as easy to use as some units, like, but they're pretty good, I think.
Soldiers. But yeah, they are very, very. I mean, you really have to master the werewolf cheese to be really, I don't know, winning games versus good play. Versus me, of course, I think I never won a game versus werewolf cheese. So
I really.
yeah, I'm so bad.
You just make towers.
Yeah, I try, and then they drop their fucking werewolves right before my towers in my worker line.
So one really big, it's not even about the towers, it's about the SimCity. So a really big weakness of werewolves is they can't fit through gaps of 1x1 square. A few other units have this as well. Catapults.
Catapults.
Ballistas and gyros. Yeah. But so what you can do is you can set your wall up with all these 1x1 gaps, so your units can fit through, but the werewolves can't fit through. And
then
if
they
you
fly
can
them in.
well, they're not going to do that with a 1-base werewolf cheese, are they?
Well, they do apparently, and I lose it.
What?
Yeah, I'm so bad. You cannot. I can send you replays, and you will definitely have a good laugh of. But yeah, it's hilarious. I'm so bad at.
But they probably only won with that because they already got a lot of damage earlier because you didn't like wall off and with towers and create a nice SimCity probably.
Anyways, I mean, I agree with ST. Okay, so that's my point. So yeah, they're very good units. When I'm not playing personally, playing them. So yeah, next one would be the wolves. We talked about, I think, the wolves a lot already.
Yeah.
Because they are so common.
Yeah. Yeah, wolves are like the iconic beast unit. They are great. They're really fast. They're really cheap. So you can use them you can just like sacrifice them to scout. You just run them into a base and you lose it. You don't care. Oh, it's only a wolf, you know.
And actually, you can trade them versus workers, and it's still better for you, right? Because they cost 5 gold.
Sometimes,
less than the workers.
Yeah. Workers are stronger than wolves in some situations because workers are a lot more microable than wolves with gold walking. What was I going to say? So yeah, a lot of time it's about you think you can run wolves into a worker line and you'll be surprised that the workers will win, because wolves are not actually that good. Wolves are terrible against like raiders, as we mentioned earlier. Only if you have superior numbers and you micro it very patiently can you.
I think you need 3 wolves for 1 raider.
Yeah, even then, if you just a move your 3 wolves against 1 raider and they're like kiting and you're not paying attention, they will kill a wolf and not lose anything, or 2 wolves. So you can never really be aggressive against raiders. Really, you have to like.
Yeah, but you kind of rotate the beasts, the wolves around. So the one which was attacked, you kind of try to have it as
it doesn't matter
behind and stuff. So there is some tricks.
You have to either have to like be defensive and not engage at all, or you have to avoid like chasing them and them kiting you, and then just get to their base directly. Because the problem is, even if you rotate them, every time they attack and you only get 1 hit off, they do 5 times more damage than you.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. So you can't. You have to get like a good surround, or just like force them to fight with like snakes or something. But other than that interaction, wolves are good throughout the whole game. You probably see them more than any other unit. Well, that's not true.
Well,
you see them a lot.
For me actually, and not even Raider do this. When you have enough wolves, you kind of already have the map control. Like claiming map control on wolves is really, really easy.
Yeah, and you can always split them out. They're so fast. They're the fastest ground unit, right?
Yeah.
So I would say they're A tier.
Okay, yeah,
sure.
Definitely where I put them as well. The question is, are they more useful or stronger or better, so to say, than Drakes or Ballista? Because
I would say
definitely
they're
not
better
as an
than
airship.
dragons. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I would say they're
or
better than dragons.
better
Yeah,
than
yeah.
dragons? All right, interesting.
I would think so. Yeah.
Better than interesting.
I mean, if you think about what like if another really powerful thing about them is you can fit loads of them into an airship. Like
10, right? Or 8?
Is it 8 or is it like 16? It feels like 16. It's 8, right? Yeah.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
8.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
So putting 8 wolves in an airship is almost as good as like attacking with dragons. Well, it can be with snakes. Yeah.
What we
So
what we
they're
haven't
pretty good.
what we haven't talked about when we talked about wolves yet is the sprint upgrade. I think there was a Discord discussion as well. I
Mhm.
actually have to admit I researched it once or twice so far,
Mm.
but I never used it because I just don't understand it, know what it does, and I don't know, didn't bother to find out. So what really, I mean, does it increase the value of the wolves you have, or is it more like a meme upgrade?
No, the sprint is really good. Whenever I do use it, I'm like, wow, why don't I use this more often? It's really good for like closing the gap and surrounding an enemy army. So if you can imagine, wolves, what they need to do is they need to surround an army,
Mhm.
and often just on the way there, you'll lose like 3 or 4 wolves to like
Mhm.
archers and different things like Gatling guns shooting at you. If you have sprint, you can just close the gap so much quicker.
But how do
And so
you
the
do
way
this? How do you use the sprint? Like, is that a button and you use the button and they
Yeah.
are
Okay.
faster
Oh, you
for a
don't actually
certain
know even
amount?
know
Or?
what it does. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't
So
understand it.
what you do? So what you press? All you do is you press a button, and then all your wolves are like much faster. They're like 20% faster, or like 30% faster. I don't know.
Wow,
For
that's a lot.
about 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So then it just makes them really fast for a little bit, and then there's a bit. Then they get tired. They go, oh, that was a lot of running, and then they're a bit slower for another 10 seconds after they were faster, right?
But in the 5 seconds you surround, and then it doesn't matter if they are slower
Exactly. So you
because
surround them, and now they're slow, and who cares? They're doing damage, right?
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, sounds very very strong. Does it
Yeah.
increase the usability or the value of wolves that much that we could argue for an S tier or above
I don't
airship?
think so.
No,
I
right?
think they're too weak
Yeah.
against a lot of units to
No.
be S tier,
Okay, so
really.
we leave it at that, at A,
Yeah.
the second position. All
Yeah.
right. So the last unit is actually the worker, the most basic unit. Now I'm interesting. I would put it in C, honestly, or even B, because I mean, without it, there will be no games. And if you have no workers anymore and you cannot reproduce them, the game is over usually. So
Yeah,
they are very, very key to your success, so to say.
I'm not sure we should even rate this unit because it doesn't make sense. It's like it's not really a unit. But I actually think they're not. If we ignore the fact that they build
Yeah, yeah.
buildings and mine
We
for
can,
you, which
of
makes
course,
them S,
yeah, but they
I
can
think take them
repair.
out of S tier, they're B tier, or even actually A tier. Workers are A tier. They're in. You're just not going to argue with it. The A tier, the workers are. You might say this is a crazy statement, Aicy, but workers are the most microable unit in the game.
Yes, 100%, I agree.
Yeah,
I have no
because
problem microending.
yeah. So the reason is they have 2 things that really good for them that no other unit has. They can gold walk, so they can walk through other
Yeah,
units, which is super powerful
no
for getting.
collision is
Yeah.
insane.
So someone could be attacking you with a bunch of wolves, and then you can move through them and then surround them.
Yeah,
Or you can do that to escape, or you can do that to micro weak ones back. It's super
yeah,
powerful. The
yeah.
other thing they can do is they can hold position, and while they're hold positioning, they still attack. But workers have a different attack priority to other units. When other units are attacking or in hold position, they draw fire, but workers don't. So you can hold position them and then just completely block off like
It's
a
absolutely insane.
tower or something,
Yeah,
and it will workers alone can completely thwart attack by just hold positioning with like a tower or another unit behind them. So I think they're really good.
now the
You know,
question, the most important question about that, is that
yeah.
intentional or was that a bug?
I would like to change it personally. I would like to say would like to say when they're on hold position, they shouldn't attack. I think we will change that.
Well,
Um,
wait, when you hold with another unit, they also attack.
yeah, yeah, but they have the attack priority,
Yeah, but
so it's
what
different
about changing the attack priority? Workers as well, if you hold
to make
position.
them higher.
Yeah.
You could do that, but let's not talk about this now. But there was a discussion in Discord about it. If you did that, that would just remove a lot of the micro. I think with the way of making the workers, if you hold position them, but they don't attack automatically, that means the worker player now has to do micro if they want to use them to attack. But if you just raise their priority, it removes the micro for both players, because now the other player doesn't have to do anything; they'll just auto attack the workers, right? And so that's not as skillful. That's the reason, basically.
Fair enough. So postponed for another Discord discussion. All right.
Yeah.
So are we agreeing on this? Is this the tier list we would like on Heaven?
I think this looks. Let's see. I think workers could be a bit higher, to be honest.
Okay, so we put them before the drakes. We all know you don't.
No, below drags. I think
below drakes. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it looks decent. I would put. I mean, from the ranking, right? If I go through, I agree with most of these points, 100%. And I think the only issues I have really would be the soldiers, and I don't know. Maybe.
Where would you put the soldier?
I don't know. I would rank it lower. I would put it in high C. High C.
Yeah, I see that. I think they could be lower as well. Actually, we might have put soldiers too high.
Yeah, more like this.
Yeah, I still think they're better than sticks, though.
Yeah. No, there's no, not arguing that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm still not sure about if catapults or raiders are better. I think they're both like units where you just win games off them. There's no other unit like these two. So,
but the raider will not need any support units.
No. But catapult. What I was thinking of, catapult drops. So like catapult drops can just end the game. You just kill a worker line, and then the game's over. And that's what I was thinking. But I guess the raiders are more consistent at doing that. So maybe raiders are number one. I don't know.
Maybe this.
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a tie. Maybe.
I cannot move them onto each other.
I feel like Katas are number one personally. It just feels, because they're so strong. They're so supply efficient. You can't beat a max. Well, you can with Fireball, but
but you never get to Kata drops when the raiders are already killing you.
You can't. Well, no. But that should. Yeah.
No, but I think we agree on this. So let's put it this way: these two units could be any position. It doesn't.
Well, I would put Kata in front, just like a tiny amount. It just feels, just because they're just, any army is so good with catapults. They're just so powerful.
Okay. You think a lot of people will agree with our list and your assessment?
I imagine people will have very different opinions, because probably a lot of my opinions come from how I play and how I use the units, and so someone who plays quite a different way will definitely have different opinions of the units. I'm sure Redus would disagree with everything I've said. He probably yeah.
Why? Because he loves mech so much and he's a big fan of gyros, or what?
Maybe no. He doesn't think gyros are very good, but maybe he would agree. But I feel like but my point was just because he plays in such a massively different way to me, that he the ways he sees the units and the units' interactions, might be quite different. But I think in general this is probably it's pretty good.
And can you take this list as a new player or general player which is not there yet, so to say? Can you take this list and think of yourself like, what units should I do as a general rule? What are good units to play? And following to this list, like, everyone should play catapults now or raiders.
No, I don't think you should take this list and go, okay, my composition is going to be catapult, raider, werewolf. I think you'd have a bad time.
Unbeaten. maybe you have to try it, and it's an unbeatable army. Maybe who knows?
Maybe.
Okay, I mean, werewolves do a pretty good job at blocking for catapults, and raiders will pick off everything.
And then they make an air unit.
Well, you can always get the ballista, no problem. Okay, yeah, great.
Sure.
So I think we are done with the tier list. Was a
Nice.
nice discussion. Learned actually a bit,
Mm,
and I will try to integrate the tank ballista into my now. So yeah,
you should do. You should do. It's very good.
thanks for joining for today's video, and maybe something in the future we can repeat this, or maybe when we add new units, we can have another discussion.